We just had some shocking news come through as the Phoenix Suns make a big trade here revolving around the NBA draft as day two is getting ready to kick off. And Brian Gregory and Matt Ishbia are gearing up for some big things. The Shams Charania broke down that they have moved up in the draft and with some key eyes of players following from the first round. This is a big moment for Jordan Ott and this front office to strike on someone that could be a second round talent that should have been a first one and could be an absolute steal in the draft here, gearing up to set up this retool, this little bit of new identity, alignment, culture, whatever you want to say the buzzword is. They're looking to push forward, and with getting this pick, it pushes that incentive even more. So we're going to dive in and explore what they could do with that pick, looking at some prospects that are going to be available and what other moves the Phoenix Suns could potentially look at down the line here, gearing up on draft day as they still look to shed some salary. We'll be getting into all of that and more on this episode of Suns Digest. I am Bruce Velez, and you guys have been absolutely fantastic. As we all know, Brian Gregory and the Phoenix Suns have been busy these last couple of days, trading for Kevin Durant, selecting Kaman Malawach, getting the steal of the NBA draft at pick 10 where he fell into their lap, and also making the big splash as well, trading for Mark Williams to get some additional help at the center position. So with the Phoenix Suns here, they have already made some big moves, and I would expect some more coming in today and as well. So without further ado, let's dive in and let's explore this move that the Suns made and what it could lead for the future, as well as let them continue to cook, ladies and gentlemen. Give your props to Brian Gregory. Give your props to Matt Ishbia. Yes, we've still not seen these players play yet, so I'm not going to say obviously 100% praise, but a lot of people had their doubts about this new front office and if they were going to be able to pull some things off, and they've already made some great moves in the right direction, in my opinion, for this team so far. And we saw from John Gambadoro earlier today, this afternoon, that the Suns have picks 52 and 59 in the second round. He's noted that he would not be surprised if they attempted to move up, either using those picks or potentially using a future second round pick to target a player that they like and feel could be a rotational piece for them. We saw that news, obviously, at 2 o'clock, and then following just a little bit later, Shams Charania broke the news that the Nets are trading their 36th overall pick in tonight's NBA draft, the 6th overall selection in the second round, to the Suns for 2 future second round picks, ones that they most likely acquired in that Kevin Durant deal, which had 5 additional seconds. But the key caveat with all of this, the Suns keeping picks 52 and picks 59, is Gambo alluded that maybe they move off of those picks, but they didn't have to, right? They got to keep those, and they also got an additional second rounder moving up in today's draft period, which I think is just absolutely key for them, once again, to really strike, hit on a late first, on a early second round pick, someone that fell from the first round that could be a key component to this squad, similar to a guy like Kaman Malawach and stuff like that. And props to Gambo, once again, he anticipated this move up and instead it was just future seconds instead, but you got to give your flowers to Gambo here for his predictions with the Phoenix Suns, because not only did he predict this, but yesterday when he gave out his Gambo top 5, he talked about power forward centers and mentioned that Kaman Malawach would be the key. But from what his insight talked about, from hearing from other executives, was that Malawach was not going to be available. But if he was, the Suns would pounce immediately. And Brian Gregory made that known in his post-press conference following the draft, saying that when Malawach was there, they felt it was a no-brainer pick, had to clearly identify him. And it just clearly goes to show you how connected Gambo is and how trustful Gambo is with all this Suns news and media. There's a lot of people that spew a lot out there on the internet, but Gambo is always right and always has the intel whenever something is happening, and that's something you have to give some praise for someone in this media sphere doing it for so long. So I appreciate Gambo for always being on top of things for the Phoenix Suns here and really getting this through. But for us fans, obviously this is very key, right? 36th overall pick, like I mentioned, someone that the Suns could go up to potentially snag here that's going to be a great selection. And who could those pieces be, and what roles could they potentially bring to this roster as we still look how the Phoenix Suns are going to navigate post this draft as well. Well, let's dive in and explore that, as what does this mean for the Phoenix Suns and for tonight here, kind of going into this with other moves and with them looking at this roster for pick 36. Well, we do want to dive in and look at some best players available still remaining in the second round. We see guys, some wings like Rasheer Fleming, Adu Thero, Ryan Kalkbrenner, and Maxime Renaud, some bigs, and also some guards as well, and guys like Chaz Lanier, and also a guy in Cam Jones, another one in Tyrese Proctor. And those ones I would definitely keep my eye on out, even though Apenda is a wing. for the Phoenix Suns. Like we mentioned, when looking at this roster, it's still not complete. A lot of people are confused on how the building of this team is going to come through. But like I've mentioned multiple times here on this channel, and I'll mention here as many times as I need to, it is only June 26th. The Suns still have till October to get this roster ready, and clearly there are still some moves that need to be done. They still need to shed some salary. They need to drop below the second apron, so contracts like Nick Richards, Cody Martin, Grayson Allen, Royce O'Neal, even Bradley Beal are ones to keep an eye on going into tonight as potential movements here, either attached with some picks or getting moved out for additional second rounders, so the Suns could look to shed some salary. Like we mentioned, they went and got Mark Williams last night and Kaman Malawash, so having that big hole at center is, kind of filled now, right? They don't really need that. So when looking at some prospects, maybe like a Ryan Kalkbrenner or potentially even a guy like Maxime Reynaud, it might be a little bit less likely, but it's clear they still need some wing depth. They still need some wing help. And with Cody Martin potentially coming back, the Suns want to work out a deal with him, or if they can shed enough salary or something like that to where they can bring him back on that non-guaranteed deal to where he doesn't have to get waived. I think that would be just a great signing to have. So if they can find that additional other wing alongside him and Ryan Dunn, if they can shed the salary, it would be desperately key for the Phoenix Suns. But like I mentioned, they could look to shed one of these centers, right? Oso Gardaro, a little bit of a tweener. Is he going to play backup for? Is Bol going to be here coming back to Phoenix? That's an age-old question. What's the potential with Oso Gardaro in this front court lineup? Where do they see him really sticking out? Where do they see a guy like Nick Richards sticking out? Is Grayson Allen still going to be here? Royce O'Neal, Cody Martin? Those are the names that I would 100% keep an eye on going on into tonight, revolving around the Suns, potentially in some other moves to get additional draft assets or other pieces for this roster. But when looking at picks, I would say the guys that I would definitely keep my eye on are the two wings, Rasheer Fleming and Adu Thero. Adu Thero coming from Arkansas, Rasheer Fleming coming from St. Joe's. They're both just what the Suns need. Some two-way players that are going to fight on the defensive end. Rasheer Fleming, a little bit better of a three-point shooter than Adu Thero, can stretch that out. And truly, that would be my number one pick if I'm the Phoenix Suns. If he falls to 36, I would be salivating, right? I would be absolutely going insane and giving this draft an A+++, going absolutely crazy. Now, if they got Thero, I'd still be happy, right? One of those two-way wings is definitely a key, but potentially even one of these guards as well. A guy like Tyrese Proctor, a 6'5 guard who played point guard and shooting guard in college at Duke, is a veteran long-term player. 6'5, could kind of play some backup point guard role, especially if they do bring back a guy in Colin Gillespie. That kind of fills out that backup point guard role alongside a guy in Booker who's going to be playing some point guard minutes, sharing the backcourt with Jalen Green, and I think that fills out a hole for the Phoenix Suns, then issuing that center problem, and then that ultimately allows them to address the wing issue with free agency and with other moves, right? Royce O'Neal, Grayson Allen, Cody Martin, Bradley Beal, those are the contracts they'll move to go out and get those wings, or those bad contracts that they'll eventually use other draft capital to send off to kind of get off of. That's the key to kind of really keep an eye on with the Phoenix Suns and kind of restructuring this roster. Looking at a potential point guard, maybe looking at a wing. Personally, like I said, I'd go wing. Rasheer Fleming or Adu Thero would be absolutely perfect pieces, and we'll have those breakdowns coming for you guys here later today, as like I mentioned, the Suns will have at least one selection, potentially even three, so depending on what they do, we'll definitely have some breakdowns looking at those players, and who knows, if they do keep pick 52 and pick 59, maybe they believe those players can be Valley Suns guys, similar to Colin Gillespie, Jalen Bridges, Ty Washington. Maybe we can see some growth and development from them on some two-way contracts. There's always some enticing things to be going on with the Phoenix Suns, and definitely today, I would see them being active out there. So once again, make sure to stay alert. Make sure to keep your eyes out. The draft, once again, for day 2 here goes live, 5 p.m. Pacific for you guys, 8 p.m. Eastern for me, and it's going to be an absolute great showing. So make sure to stay tuned. Keep up to date on everything by hitting that subscribe button to Suns Digest so you know who they select at pick 36, who they potentially move off of in some other deals, and if they do select at 52 and 59, who those other key impact pieces could be. So once again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section on this trade. Did you like it? Did you not? Once again, I think Brian Gregory is cooking. You got to give this man his flowers. Even though these moves obviously haven't panned out, a lot of people went in with a lot of uncertainty with this squad, and we haven't seen the full results of this roster yet. Maybe these picks don't benefit, but so far on paper, it's looking good, and you got to respect turning the leaf and giving this guy some praise. So let me know your thoughts down below. Like I said, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your day, and go Phoenix Suns. Peace out, everyone.